this issue of Fashion Classics, go back to the fall of 1993. In the fashion news, designers bid on old-fashioned charm for modern delights. Vivian Westwood made headlines with her inventive style. In Paris, the Palais Galliera Museum was host to treasures from fashion's past. The artisans at Judith Jack Jewelry create Marcasite wonders. And the timeless beauty of model Shalom Harlow. A new vintage of velvet is made at the Germs factory in Germany. And what's old is new again, a blast from the past with Fashion Classics. Fall 1993 was an antique shop of riches, as bygone delights enriched fashion. '93 was an age of opulence, where luxurious fabrics ruled the runway. Rich velvets, antique damasks and brocades, as well as the sheen of satin evoked past pleasures. A treasure trove of jewel tones colored fall 1993 with glittering gold and rich rubies, emeralds, sapphires, and amethysts. That fall of 1993, ruffles rekindled bygone romance too. Jet beading, most fashionable in the 1870s and 1880s, returned to fall 1993 from the past. And it's yesterday once more with vintage hats, shawls, and antique touch silk flowers. A treasure trove full of finds in the antique shop of fashion for fall 1993.
I associate the future with regression, not with progress. Popular culture is a contradiction in terms. I think the biggest evil of our age is non-stop distraction. And you can't do anything. I can only be creative when I'm on my own. So can anybody.
Designer Vivian Westwood has long been known for her strong opinions and philosophies. It's the element of contrast, introspection, and outspokenness, international fame, and a modest lifestyle that has kept the fashion world on its toes and allowed Vivian to reign the runways.
She's the queen of fashion, she really is. I love what she does. Hi Vivian, she's wonderful.
She has influenced more designers in the last 20 years, probably. than any other designer.
She's been great. She's a real inspiration.
I worship Vivian Westwood. I think she's amazing.
A superb, brilliant woman, a revolutionary and a visionary. A woman who creates trends and directions that are copied long after she's done them. A woman who should have much more money based on her ideas. She's a designer's designer.
Westwood has twice received the British Fashion Award for her innovative designs. Among her signature creations are little crinolines and corsets, distressed denim, bondage clothing, and fig leaf tights.
What I do think of, first of all, when I'm designing, it's rather a sort of little adventure world of my own, with these little love goddesses in it, you know, and there are different types of love goddess, you know, just like the goddesses of the Greek pantheon. And they've all got all their special attributes, and I sort of do design for them. But when I'm ever in any doubt, I always think, what would I like? Now, then, that means what would I like sometimes at my age, or what would I like if I was younger? And so that comes into it.
Westwood doesn't own a television set or read magazines, and has a deep respect for history. Her creations often turn back time.
This century hasn't had any ideas. The only supposed ideas that it's had have been perversions of ideas that were formulated in the 19th century. I think that you can't separate a truly creative person from one who has a respect for the past, because as soon as you start to appreciate beauty and design and form from the past, then you realise how great people were. And the fact that you're a technical person means that, because creativity comes from technique and everything is based in technique. I mean, just to diverse a second, my job is about two things. It's restricted by the human body and by fabric, and my job is to manipulate that fabric so that it gives expression to the body. I mean, that is a technical process. So I was saying that you can't dissociate a creative person from one who has a respect for the past, because you see in there what people did and what they achieved and the judgments that they did make and the taste that was, you know, behind the final form and the final idea. But one or two little
Westwood owns a place in fashion history with her revolutionary innovations in cut. She rarely sketches, preferring to work in three dimensions.
I really do feel that fashion suffers terribly from a standardisation of cut these days. Too many darts kill the body. Of course you need darts, but you need them in the right places so that they have that the garment has its own dynamic, and that therefore when somebody puts that on, that dynamic is communicated to the body and people feel that when they put the clothes on.
Westwood was asked to define fashion. Her answer sums up her fashion philosophy.
Fashion is about eventually being naked, and I think that is the best definition of fashion that I could possibly come up with. It was spontaneous. She then said to me, "Oh, you want everybody to be naked?" And I said, well, in the case of a young girl, maybe, you know, the rosy, nubile flesh is perhaps the best garment. It's possibly true, but please, at my age, because I have a pair of high heel shoes.
Vivian Westwood for fall 1993. Why look to the past? The 19th century saw the start of the Industrial Revolution, the debut of Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite, and the fashion boom in Paris. As department stores sold ready-to-wear to the public, for the first time in history, fashion became available to the masses. In 1993, the Palais Galliera Museum in Paris paid homage to this golden age of fashion with an exhibition entitled A Woman's Paradise.
L'exposition au paradis des dames présentait une évolution chronologique
chronological
de la
evolution
silhouette
of women's
féminine,
fashion.
puisque nous savons qu'elle passe d'une
During this
silhouette
time, the
très
women's
étroite
silhouette
à des
turned from a
crinolines
very
très très
straight
larges.
silhouette
Et en même
into a
temps,
voluminous crinoline
on a
look.
voulu mettre l'accent sur certains points plus
At the same
particuliers
time, we emphasized
du
particular
commerce
aspects
et
regarding
aussi
commerce,
des
as well as the change of
transformations
fabrics,
textiles
which
qui
encouraged the fashion
aident à cette
evolution.
évolution de la mode.
During this time, it was not uncommon for a woman of society to change outfits during the day according to her social needs.
On dit toujours qu'une femme,
They say that in Paris,
pas
a
seulement à
woman
Paris,
easily changed
mais aussi au
5 or
Danemark,
6
se
times
change à
a
peu près
day.
6 fois par jour. Ça, c'est
In the
au
19th century,
19e
it was
siècle, et même
considered
le
to be
début du
normal.
20e siècle, c'était
Even
la
at the
même
beginning
chose.
of the 20th
Elle
century,
prendra
they
son
changed
déjeuner
clothes often.
en habit d'intérieur, en
In the morning,
robe
she
de
took her
chambre. Elle
breakfast
pourra
in her
rester
house dress
peut-être comme ça
and
jusqu'à
remained in
l'heure
this
du
outfit
déjeuner.
just until lunch.
Et ensuite,
Then
elle
she changed
s'habillera
for
pour le
dinner
dîner.
and
Ensuite,
changed
elle
again
s'habillera
to
de
go out
nouveau
to do her
pour
visits.
sortir, faire des visites.
Then at night,
Ensuite,
there
il y
was
aura
the
le
dinner, which was
repas et
followed by a
ensuite,
ball or the theater.
éventuellement le bal ou le théâtre.
Accessories also gained importance during this era, complementing the outfits and completing the look. It would all be topped off with a hat.
On ne peut pas sortir sans chapeau
One could not
puisque
go out without
c'est
wearing
la
a
fine
hat
toilette.
because it was the
On doit
finishing
toujours avoir
touch.
les cheveux. Il y a une
Hair
importance
was very important.
énorme du cheveu. Et on
Hairdos
fait des
became
chignons
bigger and
de plus en
bigger.
plus gros, des
All
nattes.
kinds of
Et le
braids and
chapeau
knots.
se trouve n'être qu'un prétexte à
The hats were decorated with
dentelle
flowers,
et
feathers,
fleurs
lace,
ou
and
plumes ou
pearls.
bien perles.
The fashion industry grew in leaps and bounds as large department stores opened, providing ready-to-wear for all women at affordable prices.
Après la Révolution française, lorsque
After the French Revolution, Napoleon
a
encouraged
encouragé
the
l'industrie,
industry.
donc Napoléon
He
voyait dans
regarded
la
Europe as a
production
new market
française,
for
voyait
French
pour les
products.
productions françaises un énorme débouché avec l'Europe.
And, in fact,
Et
many French
en
stores
effet,
sold plenty to the
les
European courts.
magasins français ont vendu beaucoup en Europe, aux
It
cours
also
européennes,
contributed to the
mais
development
aussi
of haute couture,
cela contribue d'une
particularly
part
in the
au
United
développement
States.
donc, de la haute couture sur notamment les États-Unis.
A look back at old-time French style, influencing the face of fashion. Marcasite is a natural mineral mined in northern France and has been a favorite of women as far back as Cleopatra. Today, the design group at Judith Jack, founded by husband and wife team Judith and Jack Rosenberg, create original designs that recall darling family heirlooms.
I think today most women recognize it because mama had a piece or grandma had a piece. So they indeed recognize what the material is. People will look down into a showcase and say, oh, marcasite. But the styling is why they buy it, because the styling is done very much for the kinds of clothes we wear. We have a design staff that is very careful about the current clothing, the kinds of apparel that's being designed. So in our showcases in the department stores, the pieces always look right with the kind of clothing that we wear.
Much care goes into the creation of these mini masterpieces.
The Judith Jack look is a very sophisticated design. First of all, our pieces are made with a great deal of effort, and marcasite is a very labor-intensive material. If you pick up a piece of our marcasite, you will notice that all the edges are mill-grained. Mill-grained is sort of a finishing effect. It looks like little tiny beads of silver edging each piece, and indeed edging part of the insides of the design. So it's a very labor-intensive process that has to be done by a very skilled model maker, and there's a complete finishing effect around all our pieces. And the marcasites themselves are very, very teeny. So it is so exceptionally labor-intensive to choose the proper marcasite for that setting, and it's all done by hand. And indeed, it is a very time-consuming process. And our designs reflect a lot of what's happening around us, in addition to looking back through the years. We get our inspiration from so many different things, from the theater and from cinema and from architecture and from literary allusions and from writings, and so much of everything around us goes into our design that the American woman reflects and understands good stuff. you know, and I think that she enjoys our pieces because a lot of love and a lot of history goes into the making of it. Each year we have many, many new designs, but all our classics remain in the line. Some years they sell more than other years, and things change over the years, but we have pieces in our line that we started with that we're in the very first collection, and we call them our classics. They sell and look as well now as they did 22 years ago.
Judith shared advice for her customer.
And the most important advice I can give her is to wear it often, because it will go with practically her entire wardrobe, and it's the kind of jewelry that she will come to rely on and really enjoy wearing. Wear it. It is not the kind of jewelry that lays in the drawer. It's the kind of jewelry that appears on our body all the time.
Judith Jack Jewelry, old-fashioned charm with a modern twist. In 1993, Shalom Harlow was considered one of the new superwaifs. She became a supermodel. Today, she's also an actress, with film credits including Pret-a-Porter, Unzipped, In and Out, and Cherry Bomb. Plucked from high school and thrust into the fast-paced world of fashion, Shalom quickly adapted to her new lifestyle.
I'm from a city outside of Toronto called Oshawa. And I started just by accident, actually. I was in Toronto at a concert, The Cure, and a talent scout approached me and asked me if I was a model or if I was interested in it. And I didn't take it seriously at first. I thought it was like one of those, come on, baby, I'll take you back to my place and make you famous, you know. But here I am, like a year and a half later. It's a hard transition. It's not something that's done very easily. You go from being just an average, normal person to all of a sudden having like a superstar status, and you know, you always have to look beautiful, and you always have to worry about what you're doing and what you're saying and who's who and what's what. And it's really confusing at first, but got it all figured out now, I hope. It's really easy to get caught up in the fantasy world because it is such a fantasy. I mean, everything about this, it's not reality, you know, and it's really easy to get caught up in it. I think you just have to get back to the simple, basic things of life as much as you can when you're not working, and then you stay a normal, centered person. I just enjoy like simple things, like, you know, I still do my own dishes. I sweep the floor, and I love going camping. That's one of my favorite things to do. When I have like a month off, go home to Canada and I go camping with all my friends, and you know, we each have a backpack and we get in the canoes and we canoe and portage and then camp, and I just enjoy doing simple things like that, really.
And no makeup?
No makeup. Not at all.
Would a model by any other name still be as sweet? Shalom's peaceful center is grounded in her very name.
My name, well, my parents were really cool, and I guess they were like hippies, I guess you could say. Shalom means peace be with you. It means a lot of things, but that's one of the meanings, is peace be with you. And so they named their first child Peace Be With You. I think it's something really beautiful, you know. It's more than just a name. It's a wish that they had for me to go in peace. I think it's really nice.
Shalom Harlow from 1993. Perhaps the plushest, most luxurious fabric in the world is velvet. Associated with the royal courts of the past, velvet dates back to medieval times. Because it was difficult to produce, velvet was considered precious and made only for royalty. In recent years, velvet has been relegated to fancy parties and library upholstery. But it's not just for evening wear anymore. Come inside the Gurms factory in Germany for a closer look at the fabric of choice for the fall 1993 season.
Diese Firma ist
This
1875
company was
gegründet
founded
worden
in
und ist aus
1875.
kleinsten
started
Anfängen
as a
über
very small
die
factory,
Zeit von jetzt nahezu
and we managed to
120
become the
Jahren
world's
zur
largest
größten
velvet factory
Velvet-Fabrik der
within
Welt
120
geworden.
At the Gurm's factory, 30,000 meters of velvet and corduroy are woven each day. Velvet is a piled fabric made of either silk or synthetic fibers.
Der Samt wird als Doppelgewebe hergestellt.
Is a
Wir haben hier
double-faced
Kettfäden
material.
und Polfäden und die Querverbindung wird durch
It
den
is
Schuss
woven in two
hergestellt.
parts.
Das Doppelgewebe wird beim
And then
Austritt
cut
aus dem
apart
Webstuhl
to create
durch eine
the pile.
Schneidevorrichtung geteilt.
Before the weaving even begins, giant spools are made. Then the threads are woven in 2 layers.
Nach dem Weben wird
After
der Samt
weaving, the
zunächst auf
fabric
Fehler
is checked for
kontrolliert
mistakes,
und
and then it
anschließend
gets
gefärbt.
dyed.
After the first inspection, the fabric is washed. When that is complete, the dyeing process begins. Black is the traditional and most common color. After dyeing, it's on to the next step.
Der Samt wurde in der Färberei
In
gepresst.
finishing the velvet,
In der Ausrüstung
it is pressed,
wird er nun aufgearbeitet. Und zwar mit Bürsten.
and
Zuvor
shaved.
wurden Chemikalien in den Stoff reingepresst.
This is accomplished through a chemical process, but the work at the factory is still not done, as the most important step is still to come.
Der Samt kommt über
Before
eine
leaving the
Straße
factory, every
hier
square
zur
meter of
Endkontrolle
velvet is checked and
und
marked
wird
for
hier nach
quality
Fehler
control.
kontrolliert.
Finally, the velvet is rolled on bolts, packaged, and sent to your favorite designer to finish the job. Velvet, a fashion classic. So what if it looked like designers raided Granny's attic once again? If you peel away the layers of velvet and satin, you'll see a great way to save money and to find your own style. Have a little fun and enjoy Fashion's Antique Show with fashion classics from fall 1993.